Hey guys, welcome to my channel. Thank you so much for being here. So the very first tip that I have is go to the top of your screen and try to save the lot without doing anything at all. And this will show you exactly where the front of your lot is. So whenever you place your build on the gallery, everyone will pretty much be able to see it exactly the way you envisioned it. Now, I'm not a builder by any means, but I definitely have a couple different ideas, so I'll just share them with you. So the very first thing that you could create, I didn't even realize that I was building in spring. So sorry about that, y'all. All right, so the very first thing you could create is a privacy fence. You could use trees, you could use plants that you planted, you could use bushes, you could use taller fences or shorter fences, you could use vines, whatever you want. Something else that I love to play around with is terrain, and you could, what I'm doing right now, you could use L1 and R1 to manipulate the terrain a little bit. I'm also so accustomed to base game that I always almost gravitate towards base game objects, so like the cypress tree, the American birch tree, the graveyard cypress tree, I should say. So yeah, with this terrain paint right now, if you wanted to make the opacity a little bit lighter, you would use R1. If you wanted to make it darker, then you would use L1 and turn it all the way down. So it's not as transparent as before. Another thing that could be done is creating your own castle wall. So you could create your own bridge, create your own I'm sorry, that's our puppy. Give me 1 second. I swear a shadow could move and he would bark. Yeah, so sorry about that, you guys. So yeah, you could raise the wall up a little bit, add my favorite thing in the game, an archway, and make it into like a castle type of thing. You could also use this and make it into a bridge. Add, oh my goodness, the laundry machine. Okay, sorry about that as well. Yeah, so add some cool lights and check your build along the way, so you know exactly how it looks. And I know most of the times when we're building we use squares, so why not alternate between the squares so that and the rectangles, so that you could have a balcony on the top and a porch at the back and maybe a veranda at the front. Platforms are another thing. They're kind of hard to use sometimes. Sometimes they mess up your build, but they definitely add to it because you could change the color of your platforms and give your whole build a totally different look. I think sometimes when you make a build and you add a platform, it gives it something extra, that raw volume, I think. Shapes are another thing that's super easy to work with. Whenever you're working with squares or rectangles, just place them in different ways. I mean, the roofing is going to be a real jerk to work with and incorporate with, but that's okay, we'll figure it out. Something else that I love doing is hiding my staircase. So you don't necessarily always have to see your staircase. You could also place it on the outside where you could enter from the second floor or from a balcony or from the outside of your building or from the side of your house. And then you could add some type of beautiful, interesting window, maybe use the floral fence and create something different. Add a lot of colors. I love colors. If you don't love colors and you're more like a black and white or a neutral type of person, then you could combine two different types of neutral colors or match neutral colors with some type of pattern or some type of texture. For example, you could mix a pattern with a paint, or you could mix wood with concrete, like in Japandi style, which is a design style that blends Japanese minimalism with Scandinavian functionality and warmth. And it pretty much emphasizes the natural materials or the simplicity and comfort. And it's influenced by the Japanese philosophy of wabi sabi. So, you know, using natural materials. So, yeah, I think that building style and technique definitely adds to your builds when you combine two different types of materials together rather than just using just paint or just one color. Finding something that's more cohesive with what you're trying to build definitely helps as well. So here you could also have, we're building from the side now. When I'm building from the side, something that I usually do is I pay attention to where my fencing is. So if my fence starts on the left, then I build my house on the right. If my fencing starts on the right, then I start building my house from the left. That way the entryway is closest to the exit. So it's closest to where my fencing ends. And along the way, I keep checking the gallery to see how it looks And of course, save as you go along because you don't want to lose your progress. Something that I also pay attention to as well is when you're building from just the front and you're paying attention to the front. I think most of the time it's just like combing your hair. You pay attention to the front, but for some reason the sides are, especially the back, gets neglected sometimes. So pay attention to those because in this section here, this is what you're going to see on the big map. So when you exit the game and you're on that big map, you're going to see the back of the build. When you're on certain areas in your build, you're going to see the side of the building. So just pay attention to that and keep in mind, don't ignore or neglect any other part of your building or any other part of your house. Something else that you could also do is combine two different styles of building. So you could make like an abandoned style building or a loft type structure and mix it with a patio, a wraparound patio. Or maybe you could do something like this where you add a platform, you add some stairs. You could add it from any direction. And you could add it at the front, add it at the back. You could create, just make it as interesting as you possibly can. I don't want to put you guys on the spot, but one person commented that, they really, really love, and you know yourself, you really, really love just being able to have free will whenever you're building. And it's okay. Whatever pattern you come up with, whatever style of design that you come up with, using your imagination sometimes takes you into a totally different place. I know it's kind of different when you're building from like a budget build or something like that, but I definitely think with time you could create something really interesting even with a budget. And it doesn't have to look basic or be basic, and you still spend just a tiny amount of money making it look like that. I think with a lot of budget builds as well, using debug is great, but when you place it on the gallery, all the debug items eventually they disappear. And then the next person, they'll have to re-download it and so on and so forth. Sometimes they don't, not everybody has the same amount of packs. Not everybody has all the packs. Like I don't have all the packs, and I don't think I'll ever have all the packs, to be honest. But definitely creating something beautiful or something interesting, you can do it. You can do it with whatever pack you have, even if you don't have any packs. Like, even though I have a couple of packs right now, I recently got spotted because I wanted to make a spa, but it's okay. Use whatever packs you have. So I hope you guys liked something from this build. Thank you guys so very much again for watching. I really appreciate it. And I hope y'all continue to have a great week ahead. Bye.